Justin, Rosanna, we'll take your questions first. And kindly keep it brief, or if your partner has given a question already, you can just...
Shukran. Unasikia? Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for coming, PS, and the members of parliament. Just an honor to be here today. My name is just ZEKI, or ZEKI, or Ezekiel. Mnanisikia kweli? Mnanisikia? So as our ambassador asked for assistance that usaidie footballers. So I want to ask, the last time, like a week ago, I was somewhere, there's some stranded ladies. Stranded ladies and more stranded men in Qatar. And they're all spread around Qatar, okay? So I to make Swahili, sindio?
Yeah.
So, hawa jamaa. Pole sijapata chance ya kuongea. So our jamaa, they are stranded and were brought by rob agents, and the rob agents, they are Kenyans. They are well known, even this room, kuna wale unawajua kwa picha, kwa sura na majina. But all of us here, I believe, kila mtu kuna mzazi hapa. Sisi wote ni wazazi. So these ladies who are there, they don't have the necessities, the initial they're supposed to have, wanapata 1 meal a day, kubus, and the least food they're supposed to have, like kubus, nani hajaikula kubus hapa? It means that's where everyone starts, but that is the last part ya mtu anafaa kula hapa Qatar, as kama umeleta kwa kampuni. Kubus and spicy food done. 1 meal a day in the evening, na wamefungiwa curfew ni 6 o'clock. Now a later on Kenya, and there are more than 50 or 60. These men also spread around Qatar. My question is, Qatar embassy is here. I mean Kenyan embassy is in Qatar. Initiative gani wamechukua for the past 1 week as at now, action gani wamechukua? Are they working with the local authorities kusaidia wa Kenya? Because maybe niko sawa, mimi nalala kwa IC nakula, but what about the other ladies? What about the guys? When they get desperate, they call for the desperate measures, wanaanza kufanya vitu zenye mnasema hatufai kufanya Qatar. Watanyonga watu in the street kufit themselves. So please, someone can answer this one so that we get accountability for the rest of the team, because now we are worried. My sister is there, my relative is there, my neighbor is there, someone's wife is there. Aleta kazi ya TSC yako pale has been called 250,000. Naongea tu kweli, please, hope sitapotezwa.
So thank you for that. Let's hear, and Carlos is going to be able to answer that question. Let's hear the next quick round of questions. Kenga.
Hello everyone. My name is Kenga. I was just going to ask about, so in other countries, specifically the Philippines, they kind of negotiate a minimum wage for their workers. Yes. For a lot of people, but for Kenyans, I know people who would come here with the promise of a higher salary. I had a relative who came here with a promise of 1,500, 1,200, but they get here and then it's like 800, but you have no options. So that's just a concern to bring about, like, if our embassy, if our government can negotiate a legal salary minimum wage where we have a standard and that they can't break it because our government is able to fight for that, will be very helpful. Thank you.
Next question is Justin Rosanna. Justin Rosanna.
Hello. Thank you, Ms. Yes, I'm Justin, and I have like 2 questions I'd just like to ask. Kwanza, we had one of the Kenyan guy last week, like 3 years ago. He got an accident, a bike, and he was a boda wa inaitwa Talaba. So he got an accident, and then alikuwa charged, he got a supply, but he couldn't do that. So but I got a chance of getting one of the place where teacher walikuwa anamchangia hapo kwa nyumba. So I mean, watu kama wanafaa waenda wapi yani mostly wakipata shida kama hizi? Because unajua hao watu wa boda boda, they have a very big challenge hapa. Kama utasaidia. So yes, kama ni mguu amepewa fine na government ya hapa hivi. He was supposed to pay some amount of money. I don't know if he would able to pay that money. So nilikuwa nauliza watu kama wanafaa kusaidiwa aje. And then another thing is, I remember like 3 years back, we had an opportunity of just helping out people back home. Me, myself, I have like 2-3 kids, I help for the school fees. But right now, the school fees is just double. Like, najua siwezi lipa kwa sababu na mahitaji yangu ya kuna mtu nasaidia, lakini hiyo fee imeongezeka. So, sijui kama nitaweza lipa aje hiyo pesa kutoka from the government because the fee imeongezeka. Tulikuwa na help, so hiyo help haifanyi kazi vizuri because ilikuwa inanisaidia. And another thing is, the last one, I've been here for the last maybe 13 years. Mimi nafanya kazi kwa hotel, I'm a businessman, and I have a time nafunza the royal family members. And so, kuna venye nasaidia vitu vingine 2-3 apart from what I do. So, if in case I just want to go back home, kuna vitu zangu, I have my car, I want to go back home. How can I just, am I able to go with my car back home? Because kama sisi yuza hapa hivi, nitaweza enda nayo nyumbani ama
Tungatai.
Unasema ukienda nyumbani basi
tungatai. Sijuma kuto. Tungatai.
Next one will take his colleagues.
Mazito mnaniangusha.
So thanks so much, PS. I think from what I've heard at the presentation, what your minister is doing, it's amazing. I think, especially on the issue to do with the skills, on the issue to do with partnerships of people that are going home and doing investment. So for me, the question I would maybe something we offer as professionals, especially like me and Kenya, but we have many people who work together. They want to come and invest back in Kenya. So how can the diaspora department partner with Kenya's diaspora who want to give up the country? Because I know I have colleagues who go to Kenya for holidays. And right now, I know that someone who's retiring in the next 2 years and he's got a house in the end. I part of the team that who been part of the Good Vibes Article today when I told them to come perform, like Kendall's here and the rest, they really love Kenya because of the balozi. They've had balozi as opposed to them, and actually Kenya has become part of their own. And one of the things they want to do is to how do they settle back to Kenya. So how do you get incentives, or how do you partner with the diaspora and come up with programs where if someone refers an investor, they facilitated, or there has been some incentives in terms of, and I've shared something with the HM, because I know that's his topic. It's something we were discussing with Kenyan Invest like 3 years ago. It's called a one-stop go. And the one-stop go, they are doing it for investors. Where people come, if someone picks an investor, there's some incentives to give them. And the investor is given like their tax holidays, their support to set up business. So such model is adapted to diaspora. And because as you know people want to, someone says he works for the first family. So he knows someone who can go and invest back in Kenya. So how can this be facilitated? So that's a question I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for those questions. We'll take this round and then maybe do one more round. Okay. Balozi, I'll let you do the rogue agents question, and maybe I'll take the others, then I'll let you take that one. I'll start with the one you just asked, Felix, and then work my way back. So the Savings, Investments and Remittances division does a number of things to assist diaspora to attract foreign direct investment. One of the things that we do is we support you when you bring a trade delegation or investment delegation home. So let us know that I am bringing members of, these particular investors with me. Can you help me host meetings with Can Invest, with the Special Economic Zones Authority, with blah, 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 blah. And our team usually does that. They will do the hand holding and they will help you so that we can help you close that deal. So you just reach out to us and we're happy to assist in that. Let me also say, let me take the opportunity to say that we've been in negotiations now with the Special Economic Zones Authority to give the diaspora a special consideration within those zones, so that if you want to invest within the special economic zones, then as diasporians they're able to get you, what do you call it? It's like a quota. So diasporians who want to invest back home, this is one of the things that we are happy to assist you with. I didn't hear any clapping, but I will proceed. Let me say that we know the power of diaspora as tourism is concerned. That's why the Kenya Tourism Board launched something called the One Diaspora, One Tourist initiative. And on this one, for every tourist you bring, you actually make money. Yes, certainly. Yes, for every tourist, every diasporian brings, you make money. We will be sharing the information with you, and I'll ask, we were supposed to bring KTV with us this time around. Unfortunately, we weren't able to bring them to explain this to you, but for every tourist, because we know you're the people who tourists, isn't it? Especially now, wamesema wanafanya kazi kwa nyumba kubwa kubwa. How do you do it?
How you make money?
It's on the system. We will share the details with you so that you see how you bring in tourists, you make money. I'm so excited that you guys are excited about it, because I think Kenyans in Qatar, so we will share those details with you, and Balozi is going to circulate them to your different communities. Let me say, now there are a number of questions about the Kenyan who had an accident. Who is the gentleman who asked these questions? You asked several questions. One was about the Kenyan who's had an accident and is in some form of distress. Again, the way to handle all matters, because they're very different. This one has had an accident. We've had people who've been in hospital for some time who need help. We've had sometimes somebody who, so the forms of distress are very different. The route is still the same. Embassy needs to know, so that embassy can give us details about, they usually, I wish you knew how often the embassy writes to Nairobi. Several letters probably a day. Several issues. This Kenyan passport number, this has happened, huyu hana chakula, huyu amefanya hivi, huyu ameshikwa, huyu amepata mtoto anahitaji. So they write to us all of these things, and then only then are we able to intervene. So we do need that report. Okay? So please speak with Balozi, give the details, and then let us see what we are able to do within the resources that we have, or within the law, and what we are allowed to do. And let me say that colleagues, fellow Kenyans, that is the root for all of these things. Okay? Musikae na shida nyumbani. Because we are not able to solve what we don't know. And please remember our systems and the law, especially because we are audited and we need to follow certain procedures in law. We cannot go looking for problems and ask Omar, sasa wewe una shida gani? How can we help you as a government? Okay, Judith, which ones are your problems? No! The system requires that wewe unakuja unapiga report. But we made it easy. Unapiga report yet for e-citizen, isn't it? From your phone. So we need you to come out, engage, come out and speak with these people at the embassy, shoot us an email, go on to e-citizen and say, these are the challenges that I'm having, how can GOK help? Sometimes we're able to help, sometimes we're able to tell you that one we cannot do, but perhaps speak to this organization or so and so and so and so. Okay. I'm not sure I understood the question about school fees. I don't think I understand this one. My sense is that
Skip.
school fees have become expensive. Yeah, umenisikiza kidogo. So let me move on to the next. I'm not sure I understood that question, but let me speak about the one for bringing your staff home when you're done with your time in the diaspora. We do have tax exemptions about several things for diasporans who are returning home. There is a handbook that the KRA published specifically for diaspora to understand your rights, your obligations, and privileges that you have. And I think we have that handbook, Etienne. We will share it we'll share it with the embassy, we'll share it online, but we will also share it within your various communities so you can see some of the things that are available to you. But indeed, there is a privilege for you to bring a vehicle with you, but because here you drive on the wrong side. The wrong side. And we Kenya drive on the correct side. And the other drive on the wrong side. That becomes a problem because our laws are very clear about the kinds of vehicles that you can bring. It is not a unique challenge to Kenyans in Qatar. It is the cry of Kenyans in America. It is a cry of Kenyans in many, many places about what it is that we are able to do for you as far as that's concerned. Kenga, you raised a question, but it's a double-barreled question. The first is a minimum wage question. The second is something illegal called contract switching. You come with a contract that says, I'm going to pay you 1,800 real. I get here, you switch it, and you give me a contract that says you'll pay me 15. Immediately report that to the embassy. Guys, these people work very hard. Nivile and Julie work very hard to make sure that your rights are not infringed upon. But, and let me be clear, someone has managed to convince us, Kenyans, that nothing is going to get done. Don't bother reporting. Don't bother speaking up. We've managed to convince ourselves that, isn't it? Yes. So you even hear someone say, "Ata usi, usijisumbue." Don't even do that. Yeah, just accept and
Move on.
there you go. See, they even accept and move on. Will you just keep your head down? But my dear, how can we intervene when we don't know? Some stories I know from just being here for the last few days are that there were people who had not gotten their leave after working 2 years. They're supposed to get their leave and go home. They had not gotten, but they were keeping their heads down. Yeah, so that you just watu wanajituma wanaendelea kufanya kazi. We don't want to raise any problems, isn't it? People are a little afraid. Don't be afraid. You have rights. Within the law and even within the contract that you have rights. So these people who had not gone on leave happened to mention it to one of our officers in the embassy. How can you help us? Within 2 days, people are being scheduled to go on leave. Quickly. Because somebody said, you mean the Kenyan embassy is coming to talk to us? I just wish you knew what power you actually hold. I wish you knew what power you actually hold. Na msijidharau, na msijidharau. In this place, sifa yenu ni sifa nzuri sana. So use the brand, especially if you're doing the right thing within the law. So if someone give you a contract for 1,800, they have come and they're switching it to 1,400, tap to the embassy. We follow people's money very aggressively. And let me tell you, some of the things my office writes to call ambassadors of other countries to come to my office about somebody's 300 real. That's my job. I get paid by the government of Kenya to pursue 200 real of a Kenyan in Qatar. Because there is an agreement between our two governments, isn't it? Yes. There's an agreement. So when there is contract switching, that is illegal even within international law instruments. Sawa. So please, where the law is being broken, you must speak up. The second thing is, I know about the minimum wage conversation, and we've had an agreement that needs refurbishing, and we are in renegotiations on a particular agreement with this government. But there are other things that we are able to do even outside of that law, and we are currently exploring what are some of those things that we can do extra to that agreement. So we don't want Kenyans to suffer. That is not our job. We want people to come and be paid what they are worth, what their experience is worth. Yeah? So there are things that we're able to work on. Let me say one last thing. Do you know how Kenya is known for tourism, or for coffee, or for tea? Yes? You do know, yeah? We've been building that infrastructure for selling coffee, for selling tea, for tourism for 60-something years. Yeah? Kenya has always been the place for safari and all of. We've been building that infrastructure for 60 years. This thing of labor mobility, we've been working on it for a very short time. Yeah? We've had a State Department for Diaspora Affairs for 2.5 years. So there are some things that are not as strong and as powerful as countries that have been doing it for 40 years. Kama Ngine ambayo mentioned a little bit earlier, which has been doing labor mobility work for 40-something years. Yeah? So there are things that we are learning and there are things that we are doing. We are not yet there, but we are heading there. Sawa sawa. All right, balozi mambo ya road agents ambao wako hapo kwako.
Thank you, PS. I heard you clear about the issue of Kenyans who are stranded. It's true, we are aware about very many situations of Kenyans who are stranded. The number keep on increasing. The last count is we had a group of 38 in one place. Another session we had close to 45. So we had several places where these issues have come up. The sad truth is that these guys and this team, unfortunately, were brought by people who are rogue as they are. These are people who are changing. Among them are changing even the contracts. The situation here, they call it the free visa. There's no free visa. These are just con men who have brought young Kenyan boys and girls to jobs that don't exist. The sad truth is that these are con men who are preying on vulnerability of Kenyans and they're brought them here. It's a very sad situation. We have been following. Whichever day we hear about them, we have a team of consular officers who are on a 24-hour call. We have a call number I can share with you here. It's also on our website. Our labor department has a distress call number. The number is 33. The community leaders can take this number. 33011-335. This is a 24-hour call number. As we speak, the team you're talking about, I believe they're the ones in the Wakra area?
Yes.
Yes. They have been visited, and two things are happening. One, they are trying to trace who brought them. There are two sets of agents. There are people who brought them from Kenya. Some of them are here, the foot soldiers of the agencies in Kenya, and they have taken these young people's money. And when they come here, they dump them somewhere and they disappear. Nowhere to be traced. Sometimes to be traced and disappear. Once we get this information, we report. First, we ask them to come to the embassy and officially report. Some of them are a little worried. They don't come all. But some few brave ones are encouraged by our team. They come and make the report. With that report, it's reported to the Ministry of Labor in Qatar. The Ministry of Labor is very supportive. Once they hear that case, they take it up. But what do we do beyond that? This is where now we try to assist them in phases, not all of them. From the time when they register, some of them, we assist them to get alternative opportunities. It's not guaranteed because that is now another level. They came for a job that doesn't exist. But here they are, what will you do? You can only do so much. You do with what you can. Try to assist them to get alternative source of opportunity. This is the things we deal with them day in, day out. As the PS suggested, we are trying to find out, as we set up the Qatar Visa Center, which will help us in the long run. What do we do? Because there's a belt chain, that people are still coming. The sad news are people are still coming to non-existent jobs. What do we do? We are completely overwhelmed. We don't give up. Once you hear anything, any situation, please report to us. We will do what is within our capacity. We have the opportunity to interact, and the government has been very supportive to us. Once we know who takes responsibility, those companies are taken off the list, even here. Ministry of Labor here is very sensitive to our request. Once we know the two interlocutors, we flag them up and they will be taken out of business. The next issue is what do you do with this? The best option is to go back. But how do you go back when you have already paid a certain amount of money, the little you have, all the savings you have, all the borrowings you have done, and you are here? This is the thing. This is now we are dealing with facts that have changed. Then we go out of our way to find out if there will be opportunities for them. But you see, if we do that, we are also encouraging. You see, we are encouraging the flow. So this is the dilemma we face. And that's why we made it a priority for the Qatar Visa Center to be open. Once that is open, anyone who comes here will come, however you are paid, with whatever amount, wherever you are going to stay is going to be very clear. And the contract you are going to sign will be in a language you understand. Sometimes it doesn't have to be Swahili or English. It can even be a mother tongue. That's what that law says. The contracts you are going to sign at the Qatar Visa Center will be in a language you understand best. So these are the long-term solutions. But what do we do in the short-term solution? People are here. You hear there 16 of them in one room. With this kind of weather, they can be out. Some they can't be out because they are brought here and they don't have QID. They can be in the streets because what will happen next? The police will sweep them and take them to the deportation center. So these are the dilemma they face. But the saddest of them all is when our team went to visit this cohort of girls. Initially they were close to. Initially they were 40. 80. And when the team interrogated them and tried to find out, the brave ones came out, said, really we have been duped here. But there are some who are still being manipulated. Said, the embassy cannot help you, no government will help you. If you go out, you're exposing yourself. So a good number of them came out, they were assisted, they got some interviews for jobs. Others are still being undecided. But you can't force people what to do. You only need to encourage them. There are opportunities. They're already here. Nothing worse can happen to you more than this. You come to a job that doesn't exist. You come to a place you don't have food. You don't come to a place where there is no way out. So these are the kind of challenges we face. However, based on situations, we cannot promise, but we will make sure first the people who brought them are taken into either custody or made to pay. Because that's what the law says. The Qatari government is very serious about that because it's about image. They don't want the image and the brand to be imputed in any way. For us also, we don't want our people to suffer. But this is the dilemma we face day in, day out. Madam PS and the members of parliament here need to help us to make sure that we have additional resources to cater for this kind of unforeseen situation. But we are working 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, I had a meeting with the Commissioner General of Immigration and the director in charge of Qatar Visa Center. And they promised me that they are going to open Qatar Visa Center in Nairobi to resolve this and many other issues. As the PS said, we work around the clock. We don't want to explain all that we do because people may think that we don't do much. We go to the prison, Madam PS. I had the opportunity to speak with the Commissioner of Prison, very wonderful gentleman, and talks very high about how he's going to help us resolve our issue. There are some number of Kenyans who are in jail, serving different sentences. and we make sure at least every other time we manage to visit them. And when we visit and we talk to those young boys and girls, that's the first time they get opportunities in the room together. And by the way, this is the only country where diplomats are allowed to go and talk to prisoners. I have served in, Madam PS, I was lucky to serve in close to 6 countries in the world. The last country I served before I came here was in Turkey. We went to see 2 Kenyan girls who were in prison, and it took us 3 months for the approval. And when we came and we saw the girls, they were not even together. We only saw one through a wall, through a wall, and we could only talk to her at a distance. Here, they are gracious people. These people are wonderful. But then I was taken back because when we went to the prison, and of course they give this to every other diplomat who live in Doha to go and see their citizens. And we go with our team, and they really look forward, the boys, they really look forward to such visits. It's always on Monday or Tuesday? Mondays, it's always on Mondays. And when we go there, they bring all of them in one room, like this, a big room, and then they sit down. And this is the time they get also the opportunity to talk to each other. And you give them the time to speak, you see really people talk so deep. Physically they look very good, but emotionally they are very empty. There's a lot in them. They say, I was a little insensitive, I'm sorry to say that, but because when I saw them I said, you look good, but then this young man said, Ambassador, you say you look good, but I'm finished inside here. I'm finished inside here. So when we talk to them and we come to know each and every one of them, their issues now. Every other time it's like we find out what's the latest. So it's a feedback. There's one Kenyan who is in jail for a long time, and his was a murder case. And we try to find out opportunities for them to be given amnesty. Always we have amnesty 3 times. This particular amnesty, we try to ask them to be considered. And you realize we got opportunity to have about 10 of them this year who are given amnesty. And we keep on, the number is introduced. But these are the kind of things we always do. Sorry, thank you. And these are the kind of things we do behind the scene. We visit them, we go to the deportation center. Our team of consular officers are people who are 24 hours. They work so hard, we're very proud of them. And they know the system, they know the language, they know the people. And the interlocutors they have here are very good people, the police, the people at the deportation center, prosecution, public prosecution as well. And we keep on making sure that people don't get into trouble in the first place. Please, if you see the team like that, kindly please share with us. We will do what we must do. And we don't take no for an answer from any organization. We will knock on any door that will open opportunities for us. With those few remarks, I needed to put that in detail so that our friends see that we are not sleeping on the job, Madam PS. My remarks will keep on reducing. When you hear those kind of remarks, I just lazima nijitetee. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had a very wonderful